I'm going to paint a picture for you. Little hypothetical. What would you do in this situation? You are the top quarterback in this upcoming draft class. Who is it? Quinn Ewers, Shedeur Sanders, Carson Beck. I don't care. Whoever it is, it's now you. And you are drafted by the Carolina Panthers with the number 1 overall pick. What's your next move? That's my question. Mike Florio of Pro Football Talk wrote an article suggesting that your next move, if put in that situation, should be to boycott playing for the Panthers and just refuse to do it. He thinks the way the Panthers handle quarterbacks, the way David Tepper, the owner, specifically handles his organization to then handle the quarterback, is worth you refusing to play in the NFL for a full season. Mike Florio on Pro Football Talk wrote, look at the Jets. From Geno Smith to Christian Hackenberg to Sam Darnold to Zach Wilson, they've ruined one quarterback after another. The Panthers are on that same track. Mm-hmm. Mike Florio continued, and the incoming quarterbacks have more power than ever before. Their money is the source of it. They have earned plenty. They have, or should have, banked a lot of it. They can make it clear to the Panthers, privately or if needed publicly, that they won't sign a contract with the Panthers. That whoever is drafted by Tepper's team will sit out for a year, live off his NIL money, possibly earn more of it, Florio adds, and re-enter the draft the next time around.
So similar to what we saw 20 years ago with Eli Manning, getting drafted by the Chargers saying, I ain't playing for you.
Except the reason why it was plausible for Eli was because you knew the Mannings have money.
Well, yeah.
You knew that there wasn't life-changing money waiting at the end of his first contract, so it felt like there was a possibility he might actually make good on his threat to not play for the Chargers. And if you want to go back even further, John Elway. But John Elway had professional baseball offers sitting there.
That's true.
So it was plausible that he would follow through on not playing in the NFL because he would just go play for the Yankees.
Because he was drafted by the Colts.
And he didn't want to play for the Colts.
Yep.
So he worked his way to the Broncos. But here's the crazy part. Here's the part that I think might get unrealistic for Mike Florio. He thinks the quarterback should do it as a unit. And say, whoever gets drafted by the Panthers will not play for the Panthers. Eli Manning did it as a one person, but obviously all the quarterbacks didn't do it because he ended up being traded for Phillip Rivers, who was willing to play for the Chargers. Imagine if the Panthers draft Carson Beck number 1, and Carson Beck goes, under no circumstances. I made so much money as Georgia's starting quarterback that I can sit back, relax, and train for a year and re-enter the draft next year. And the Panthers go, fine, we'll trade you. And they go to train for Quinn Ewers. And Quinn Ewers goes, absolutely not. If you trade for me, I made so much money at Texas, I will sit around and wait till next year and re-enter the draft. And on and on and on that happens. That's what Mike Florio is describing. That's how bad things have gotten for the Panthers. Somebody is out there thinking, and the somebody is Mike Florio of Pro Football Talk, is out there thinking that NFL quarterback, there are 32 starting quarterback jobs in the NFL in the world. If let's say most teams carry 2, maybe 3 quarterbacks, on active rosters there's like, we'll call it 70 or 80. 70 or 80 spots in the world. And he thinks the Panthers are so bad, so dysfunctional, so poorly run that you can get a block of people to refuse to take 2 or 3 of those 70 or 80 spots. That is unreal. File this under the group of things, whatever pile you have of things that are very easy to tell someone else to do and very difficult to do when you're in that situation. Sure, be a complete stone cold killer of a negotiator and win every game of chicken in the negotiations and steer yourself away from a bad situation and end up in your hand-picked perfect situation, go do it. And then there's the Carolina Panthers offering you, $35 million to be the number 1 overall pick, and they want to build around you, and they're whispering sweet nothings into your ear, and you're like, okay, yeah, sure, how do I get to Charlotte? It's a hub, right?
That contract's the same no matter where you get drafted number 1. That's the thing with the wage scale.
Slotted.
Exactly. It's like, you are risking money.
You could go full Eli Manning. You could go full John Elway. I don't see it being realistic that you get an entire draft class to do it.
Yeah, I don't see that.
Maybe one. If you told me Shedeur Sanders was going to do it,
oh yeah, I believe.
I'd believe you.
Oh yeah.
If you told me Arch Manning did it the next year, I'd believe you.
I believe it too.
If you told me 5 guys that were all projected first rounders were going to do it,
nuh-uh.
Because not only is this like an indictment on the Panthers, but also think about who you're talking to. You're talking to quarterbacks, first of all, a position that comes with ego. Nobody, when they're like starting Pop Warner, is like, I'm not super confident in myself. So yes, coach, I would like to play the position that has all of the pressure and touches the ball on offense every single play. Like, there is inherently some ego that comes with playing quarterback. On top of that, a lot of these guys, 4, 5-star recruits, they've been the best player on every team they've been on. They don't think they're going into a bad situation. They think they're going into a situation that they can be the savior of.
Mm-hmm. These guys are competitors.
All those guys failed in Carolina? They weren't as good as me. Oh, you think I'm the same as Bryce Young? Watch what I do with it. Is it the best thinking? I don't know. Maybe not. But it's you don't end up that player drafted at the top without thinking that way.
Mm-hmm.
And then secondly, I know they made a lot of NIL money. More money than most of us would know what to do with in college. I know they've made a lot of NIL money. But the big money, like the goodness gracious money, you know where that comes, right? The second contract in the NFL. In a lot of ways, to make like the hundreds of millions of dollars, it is a race to your second contract. You don't play for a year. You don't start the time until you're eligible for the extension. Ask Tua how happy he is he got to his extension when he did. Because now you're medically retired, you get $167 million. If that would have happened last year and he was medically retired, he's not getting a fraction of that. Getting to Carolina and starting that clock, or getting to whatever team you go to and starting that clock, is going to be something agents are very interested in doing. And then lastly, and this is, might be the most important thing. Being a top draft pick is a dream. When you are a true football lifer, and usually quarterbacks are, they're the junkies. They watch every game. They play fantasy football. They talk about it with their buddies. You really want your NFL career to start off by saying, I don't want to play NFL football for a year? I refuse? You get the chance to go out there wearing an NFL jersey. Maybe you dreamed, you grew up in L.A. and you want to be a Charger, but the Panthers are still an NFL jersey. You still get to go jog out onto that field and live a dream. I think it's pretty unfair to expect anybody to pass on that. And by the way, it's risky. You see this with baseball sometimes. Guys just, they don't meet the demands or whatever, and they toll over, and heck, a bunch of them don't end up panning out. I know baseball is a lot less likely to get an opportunity, like you might not even make the bigs as a top pick, but it's just like being a head coach. There's only 32 spots. Dave Canales probably didn't envision going to a team that was fresh off the worst record in the league and had a quarterback that didn't look good in his rookie year. But turning down head coaching jobs, it's a dangerous game. You might not get another opportunity. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan.
By the way, we actually do have some people chiming in about the draft and all that stuff next year and quarterback and all those things. Tristan says, I don't think the Panthers should draft a quarterback. JC says Panthers better off paying a free agent than rolling the dice on a rookie. And this one comes from Carolina Boy saying, keep Andy, draft Travis Hunter.
I mean, Travis Hunter, I don't know if Carolina would know what to do with that guy. Do you play him on offense, defense? Is he returning kicks?
Yes.
Yeah, maybe.
Yes.
How many snaps did he play in college? Double that. Here's the hard part. If we're talking about rookies who don't have a choice, refusing to play for the Panthers, what free agent do you think is going to be like, yep, right here, line me up, I want to play for the Panthers? Maybe you could pay what we'll start calling the Tepper tax.
The Tepper tax.
Well, how much is the Tepper tax? You have it. Let's pick a team that could be in the market for a quarterback next year.
All right.
I'm looking around the NFL. Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Excellent suggestion.
Mm-hmm.
Pittsburgh offers you $100 million over 3 years.
Okay. How much guaranteed of that?
We'll call it essentially 2 years guaranteed. So like 60, 65 million guaranteed.
Okay. All right.
How much bigger does the contract have to be for you to choose the Carolina Panthers over the Pittsburgh Steelers? Remove your own fandom as a Steelers. It's a solid franchise with a stable head coach. And so 3 years, $100 million is the offer you have from Pittsburgh. If I offer you 3 years, $110.
I would need that additional $10 million guaranteed. I'd need $75 guaranteed.
3 years, $110, $75 guaranteed.
As opposed to
that's
$165.
That's equal. That's like the equivalent, right? Mm-hmm. So that's all right. Another $10 million. Actually, I don't think that's that bad for a quarterback. If I'm the Panthers, I'd be willing to overpay by $10 million guaranteed over a 3-year deal. You just hope it doesn't become like you have to pay 130%, 140% of what others like. Hey, I'm going to take this Steelers offer for 3 years, 100, unless you give me 3 years, 140.
Yeah, or at least 120, 125.
That's where it gets dangerous, and that Tepper tax can start to add up.
Mm-hmm.